Hi, and welcome to another Miss Alley Cat DIY video. Today I have two awesome DIYs to show you using Dollar Tree's calendars that they have out this year. I had so much fun making these projects and they were so easy to make, so without any further ado, let's get into both of these DIYs. So as I mentioned, I will be using Dollar Tree's calendars. Here is one of the calendars that they have. I absolutely love it, and I'll be using a couple images from this calendar. Let's get started. So for this first DIY, we're going to be making this composition notebook. Really cute. Now you can buy already super cute notebooks, especially at Dollar Tree right now, but I've already been using this particular one and I wanted to jazz it up a little bit. So what I'm doing is I'm taking some Mod Podge and I'm just using a paintbrush and I'm putting a very thin coat over the whole entire front of the book. I'm not doing like the binder type edge. I'm only doing where I want my picture to be. And you want to make sure that it's nice and even, so I'm taking this sponge brush and kind of going back over it just to smooth out all of the glue. Now taking whatever image you decided to use, this is from a Dollar Tree calendar. I've already cut it out of the calendar, obviously, and I am just putting it right on top of the composition notebook. I'm using my fingers to take out any bubbles and smooth it all out, but I soon realized that I needed something with more of an edge. So I grabbed these cones that I just bought from Dollar Tree. Any item that you have that has like an edge like this would work just fine. All I'm doing is I'm continuing to take out the bubbles, because that's really your main goal, is to get all those bubbles out and for it to be nice and smooth. So just do this until all of the bubbles are completely gone from your project. So once you've done that, I just flipped over my whole book and now I'm taking an X-Acto knife and just tracing with the knife right next to the edge of the book. You can also open up the book if that is easier. We're simply just going around the whole book where our image is, just to cut out the image. So the very next thing that you want to do is you want to take your X-Acto knife and right where the black binder part of this notebook is, you want to take your X-Acto knife and just go right along that edge. And very carefully just go with the knife right there, and when you do this, it looks so crisp and clean. It looks really cool, especially since now the image that we're using in this video is black and the binder is black as well. So to finish this project off, we're just simply putting another coat of Mod Podge over the whole top of that image that we just put on to our notebook. And just the same, you want to do a pretty thin coat. So I'm taking my paintbrush and painting the notebook, and then I'm going to go ahead with the sponge once again and smooth everything out. You want to let this dry for at least a couple of hours, but I would recommend letting it dry overnight. That way everything is completely dried. So here is how this DIY composition notebook turned out. I am absolutely in love with this. It makes me so excited to write in this notebook. Now I did leave the back of this just the black that it was originally, but you of course could do the same thing to the front that we did. You could do that to the back. For me personally, I'm just using this journal as like a health/workout journal. I really love writing in this, especially since it is so cute on the outside now, but I am definitely someone who is not really great at bullet journaling. I am not an artist, so just keep that in mind. This is just something that I do for fun. Alright, so for the second DIY, we're going to be making a frame that our calendar pictures can fit right into, from Dollar Tree, of course. So the first thing we're going to do for this DIY is I'm going to go ahead and open up my calendar. This one is from Dollar Tree. It's a different calendar, but you of course can use any calendar you want. I'm going to go ahead, open it up completely and remove those staples. And then I just take the calendar apart, pick which picture I want, and cut that in half, as you can see on the screen. So the very first thing that I did for this DIY was I took popsicle sticks and I made a border all the way around except for the top with my popsicle sticks. Now you want them to be pretty close together. I would say about of 1/4 of an inch apart, but you don't want them on the very top of the picture like I said. You want a border of the popsicle sticks on the bottom and the 2 sides, just not the top. So initially what I started to do was I had my E6000 glue and I was just simply putting the glue right onto the popsicle stick and then gluing my Jenga block onto that popsicle stick and making sure to glue it to the other block. However, once I was kind of starting to do this project though, I found it very helpful to just glue the Jenga blocks together, so I did flip it over so that the popsicle sticks were facing up towards me, like you can see in the video. So I glued the Jenga blocks together and then glued the popsicle sticks on top of that. And that was a little bit easier. And you want to make sure that the popsicle sticks are covering up where each block meets. So that is more of a sturdy frame. So once you reach the top and you've done both sides, now we're simply going to take Jenga blocks and glue them across the top. Now to do this, you do kind of have to put your block not completely flush with the other blocks. It is a little bit off, as you can see in the video, and I had to do that for a couple different corners on this frame just because it didn't form a complete square with these Jenga blocks. So go ahead and glue that with E6000 to the side of your frame. So on each corner I did take a very small piece of a Jenga block and just cut it so that it simply just connected the side to the top, but you want it very small so that we're gonna still be able to put a picture inside of our frame, and that will make more sense as we go on. As you can see, the frame is not a complete square, so I did have to kind of put my blocks a little bit off kilter, as you can see in the video. So just keep that in mind. You have to just put them however they go so that you form a square. Here's a quick view of all of the corners, just so that you get an idea of what I mean by I had to put them wherever they would fit to make a square frame. So now to make the top of our frame a little more sturdy, just like we have with the bottom and the side, but a little different, we're going to take some cardstock paper, and I've just cut it into strips. It doesn't matter what color. This is just what I had on hand. I'm just cutting it into strips and I'm simply going to glue this to the top of our frame. So I ended up doing enough strips to put the paper all the way across the top of our frame, and I did this for a couple of layers. You just don't want it so thick that you can't put your picture inside of the frame. So next I did let my frame dry for a couple of hours, and then once it was completely dry, I did very carefully place it on top of a large piece of cardboard like you can see in the video, and now I'm simply cutting out a square that is big enough for our frame to sit on top of. I did initially cut a bigger square than I needed just in case, and then I'll trim it up very shortly. So next up, all I'm doing is I'm taking my E6000 glue and I'm putting glue everywhere except for the very top of our frame. So both of the sides and the bottom of the frame. As you might expect, the next thing we're going to do is take that piece of cardboard and put it on top of our frame. I did flip this whole thing over just so that I could adjust anything that I needed, like if the blocks moved at all, so that they glued down the correct way. So now I'm just trimming up all of the cardboard on our picture frame, including the corners that are a little bit different. Just taking my razor blade and trimming it so you can't see the cardboard at all when there's a picture in there. And just a tip, if you did what I did and accidentally put a Jenga block with words on it on the outside of the frame, you can very carefully take some sandpaper and just sand those words off. And no one will ever know unless you put it online and you tell people that you did that. But there you go. If you did that, that's how you fix it. So we're finished, but of course I did let the whole frame dry before doing what you're seeing on your screen, which took a couple of hours or just until it's dry. But then you can insert whatever calendar picture you want. I'm just over the moon with how this turned out. I just love it. Now, I didn't paint my frame. You totally can, but I think that the raw wood looks great with so many different pictures that this will be extremely versatile. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave it that way, but you can change it up if you would like. So this is the end of this video. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It truly means so much. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please feel free to pounce on that like button and hit subscribe. And if you want to see more videos like this from me, and hauls, and even more, please feel free to click on that notification bell to be notified every time I upload a new video. So with that being said, this is Miss Alley Cat DIY. Until next time, bye! Oh, and have a perfect day.